Alright guys, today on the Copper Catcher, I got a new toy. So we're going to test it out and run it. You guys, if you've seen my short, you would know. But we got a double cutter wire stripper, so we're going to mess around with it a little bit. See what we got. We got a little bit of stuff over here and basket full there. So and I'm changing the flow up a little bit so I can move the stuff that's not stripped over here on the floor, and then when it goes out it'll be over there, and then it's one flow. So hopefully it works out. But let me get you guys over here and we'll get you on a still side here and go that route.
it works faster, but it's kind of hurting my arms. It's kind of a bitch. It's really hard to push it in there. I have mixed reviews.
I can tell.
So what do I do in these scenarios when I'm down here by myself and I don't know what to do?
Turn it on reverse.
And then
Turn on reverse. You missed the cutter. Set her up for the next. That's pretty quick.
It's quick. I just said I had mixed reviews.
Yeah, we just did that whole box this morning. That's pretty quick. It's definitely a little bit more intense. More laborish. Oh, this is a different one yet. Bunch of different ones in there.
There's all kinds.
Yeah, because this has got brown. That's all you. That's all you. My first thoughts using this wire stripper right here. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty positive that these are Chinese made machines, just like all of them that you see online. I don't know about Blue Dog. I bought this as a used machine. It had maybe 20 minutes of wear on it. There's definitely some things to improve. It's not something that you're going to buy and think it's going to be perfect right out of the gate. Since I've had it, and I've only had it a day. This is the first day I've ran it. It worked pretty good. Don't get me wrong. It did everything it was supposed to do. It had some issues right out of the gate. Yesterday when I got it home, I ran it a few times last night when I got it home. Now, when you look in here, see how that cutting wheel right here is in line in the dead center of the groove in there. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but down in these smaller ones, it's real obvious when you get down here in the smaller settings that these were not in the center right here of the groove. All of them was shifted over 1/8 inch to 1/4 of an inch that way on the actual centering of these holes and the grooves in the bottom. Now the bottom shaft is perfect. top shaft wasn't at all. So, and I've seen Project Shop Florida adjust his, and obviously that's the reason why he has all the guards off of his. He has this off of his, this off of his, the top off of it, which I'm probably going to end up doing the same thing just because it makes it a pain in the butt to work on. You can't get to anything. But inside of here, under these covers, you can probably see these a little better. These right here center the shaft. So you adjust 2 screws and you push that shaft right or left inside of there using those centering screws. Now what I did yesterday, I screwed up and I tightened them up. I snugged them up pretty tight to where they wouldn't move. Now what that did was keep this piece right here from going up and down because I had these too tight. So you got to leave these a little bit loose so that this thing will travel up and down with the spring. So I backed that off and let it travel up and down like it's supposed to. Here's the centering ones for the other side. This guard ain't on where it's supposed to be because I took it off yesterday. But those was the issue with it centering in there. And he has the same problem with his machine. You'll see him adjust those all the time, and I've seen him adjust them. So I noticed it on mine, so I adjusted it. Now it worked good to a point. When this thing sucks in a piece of wire, and I'm going to change it over. Let's just grab this stuff right here. When you stick this in the hole, it will go in, and if you can see that in there, let me see if you can see that in there. See how it can go to the past the side of the cutter in there? It actually, that's the cutter. That's where it's hitting the cutter right there. But if you feed it in crooked at all, it will miss the groove and just go right past the cutter wheel. So, with that being said, I took this off right here and took this off and took this cover out. This side was really low, like it was making it ramp up into the cutter. Well, when it was ramping up into the cutter, it would offshoot it one way or the other off each side, and that would cause it to not cut. So I decided I egged this hole out a little bit and I slid this up to where it was more centered, going straight into the cutting wheel. So it was going straight into the cutting wheel here. Better. Now what I'm going to do to change this, because all of these need to be closer to that groove so it doesn't have a choice but to go into the groove. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off right here. I'm going to cut this off right here, and then I'm going to put a piece in there and extend these back in closer to the grooves and to the cutoff wheels, so that they don't have a chance to shoot out the side. And that's a prime example right here, how it can go in and miss the cutoff wheel. Right like that, and then it'll run right straight through there instead of running straight into the groove like that. It goes actually like that and goes in past it. So the only way to fix that is to make these deeper and closer to the cutoff wheels. They got, it looks like to me, most of them, I will take this cover off right here, but it looks like to me most of them can be moved in. Hell, these shorter ones down here can be moved in up to 1/2 inch in, or better, or more. So I may just extend this end in and leave this end out where it's at. But I'll work with that as I go. It does look pretty close on this last one. Yeah, there's only about 1/8 inch there difference. So even if I cut this off and move this out 1/8 of an inch and weld it back on right here and close that gap up, it'll be better regardless. Other than that, it worked really good. Oh, the other problem I had, and I didn't notice it until right at the end of the day today, after we've stripped a whole bunch of wire, and I would stick it into this hole. We were running some pretty big stuff. It might have been this one or this one, but I would look in there and I would see these spacers and the cutter not turning, but all the other cutters and spacers were turning. So I got to looking at it, and there's a jam nut right here on the end that jams all these together, because all those are just spacers and a cutter. Spacer, cutter, spacer, cutter, spacer, cutter, all the way down this shaft. Well, I got to looking at it, and I'm like, hell, they didn't have the jam nut wasn't tight. It was tight, but it wasn't tight. So, and it's got these little tabs that keep it from backing off. So I bent the tab out, and I hammered that jam nut pretty tight, and then bent the tab back in so it can't back off. And after that, it's pretty good running machine now. It zips right through it. And of course, I'm learning how to set the pressures. The pressures are pretty important on this machine. It will smash wire and needle it, even the big stuff. It needled that stuff right there, no problem. But then I got it dialed in, and it ran perfectly smooth. I mean, that stuff's falling right out of the insulation. So the problems, they're minor, but I don't know. And maybe it's because I've been in the aviation industry, and details matter to me. So for me to see that, when I know that the guy that had this before me, he didn't do it. It wasn't his fault. He didn't set it up this way. He ran it the little bit that he ran it, and that's pretty much it. And because it's a pretty new machine, there's no wear and tear. I mean, the paint is still in every single one of these holes. These two holes are the holes we use the most today, and we wore the paint off ourselves, you know, on some of these. The paint was still in the holes on them. So, and I know it didn't have any hours on it, but it's just where they put it together. Where they manufactured it, it was not manufactured to a very precise standard, at least to a precise standard that I want out of it. So those are the few problems that I had out of it, but other than that, it has definitely done some work. There's a tote right there that's about, I don't know, 500 or 600 pounds of copper there. So it ripped through it. It didn't needle hardly anything. The biggest thing we had a problem with was it running off of the cutter. It wouldn't hit the cutter. So with that being said, I'm gonna modify that guide on the front. I'll probably do that tonight. I'll modify the guide. I've got some more wire over here that I've got to strip and run. I've got a little bit over here, but we're mainly through most of it that we was planning on working on today. But yeah, it did a pretty good job for what it did. It definitely sped our job up. We would have never been able to do a whole tote in a day like that with the other one down there. Now, I don't know how good this one's going to work for the smaller wire that I do. I do a lot of small wire, so I don't know how well it's going to do for that, because it don't go down real small like that one over there does. And that one's a little bit more controllable and precise on that situation. That one came from Vevor, and it was pretty dead on. It worked pretty good. I've never had an issue with that one over there. And dialing in on like 12 and 14 gauge wire is super easy on the smaller stuff. So I don't know if I'm going to keep it or I'm going to give it away in a giveaway for my 1,000 subscriber giveaway. I don't know. That's a pretty good machine down there though. And then I may buy another one, and a brand new one, and give it away at the 1,000 subscriber giveaway. So, but I will be giving something away, so stay tuned, guys. But if you like what you see, share it, subscribe, comment, Give me a thumbs up. And until next time, enjoy our wild America.